my name is Kristee and we're going to be doing some yoga today. I call this session a half-half session because this is a great session if you've had a bit of a day, you're feeling a little bit iffy, you kind of want to move, but you don't want to move too much. It's going to be a nice combination of the two. We're going to be doing a sun salutation sequence without any lunges, so we're going to be moving quite quickly through it, building a lot of heat and energy. We're going to be doing a standing balance or a few balances in there if we have time for it. Then we're going to be coming down on the ground, really loosening up, really releasing and stretching out. So hopefully throughout this class you work within your range. If anything doesn't feel right, just take the time to reassess the body, maybe come out of it slightly. And if there are any modifications or anything that isn't recommended for certain injuries, I will let you know throughout the class. We're going to start by getting comfortable. We're going to check in with our bodies. It's always a nice way, rather than just jumping straight in, to resettle and reconnect. So take a few moments. You might like to sit with your legs crossed. You might like to extend them out. You might like to sit on a block or on a pillow. But close down those eyes, connect in with the breath. Let those shoulders roll down and drop down away from the ears. Then we're going to take a few moments here. Just connect in with our breath. If you find it hard to settle the mind, if it starts to wander, just bring it to that breath. And if you need to connect with that breath a little bit more, you can place your hands on your stomach, your chest, or one of each. We're not trying to control the breath or hold it at the moment. We're just letting it move naturally. You might like to connect in with different parts of the body, maybe that have injuries or areas that are feeling a bit stiff or sore, and you might like to send the breath to those areas. Sometimes it helps if you're imagining that you're sending some relaxing breath and then you're breathing out and letting go of that stiffness and soreness. The same can go for any areas of the body that are feeling a little bit energetic and open. Maybe you'd like to send something to them, to just ask them to stay still for a few moments, to settle, to release a little bit. And then we're going to slowly start to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes. We're going to meet ourselves onto the mat. So laying down onto our backs, we're going to hug those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice little cuddle and a slight rock side to side. You might find that the back cracks slightly as you lay here. That's okay. If your hips are feeling a little bit tight, you can bounce those knees up and down. Your eyes might still be closed here too. We are still waking up and getting ready for our stretches. And we're going to start by stretching through the backs of our legs. So we're going to hold onto our left knee. We're going to flex our right leg and we're going to extend our right leg up towards the ceiling. We want to try to keep our leg toward our body. If it's out really far, we're going to find it's a bit too much work for that hip. And if you want to, you can start to play around with the foot. So you might like to point or flex the foot. You might like to pump the knee by bending and straightening the knee. But we're really focusing on getting a nice big stretch through the back of the leg. If you want to, you can hold on to the leg. It might help. We aren't going to be here for too long before we bring that leg down and swap sides. Hold on to that right leg, flex the left leg and extend it up. Once it's there, you can play around with the foot. You might point or flex. You might draw some little circles. You might pump that knee. Each side's going to be a little bit different too. I'm probably going to be talking about the different sides of the body today, really connecting in with the difference across the sides and encouraging you to see the body for how it is, not trying to see the body for how it could be. We are perfect within our body right now. We're moving within our range and it should be respected for that. We're going to take both of the legs up now, so some options. You can take those hands underneath the lower back, flex the feet and extend them up, or if you'd prefer to, you can take those hands behind the legs, holding onto either just above or just below the knees so that you can keep those legs nice and straight. If you really want to, you can just let the legs do their own little thing. You might want to open them out to the sides a little bit, play around with those feet, and then slowly bringing those legs back down to center. We're going to tuck the chin in towards the chest, give ourselves a little cuddle here, and then slowly releasing those feet back down to the ground. We're going to roll over to one side and then come up to a comfortable seated position. We're going to open those legs a little bit more first before we come into our sun salutation. So we're going to take the soles of the feet together, the knees open nice and wide, and we're going to flutter those knees up and down. This is our butterfly pose or our Baddha Konasana. And then we're going to reach forward into a forward fold. So you can slowly walk those hands forward, slowly relax and release the head down towards the feet. If you find you've got a bit more room to give, you can walk those hands forward a little bit further. If you're finding that the head isn't fully releasing out, you can place a block or a pillow on those feet so that the forehead has something to rest on. Really getting a nice round through the spine, a nice release out through those legs. You can also have those legs out in a straddle position too if this position is not comfortable for you. And then slowly walking those hands back to center. Use those hands to guide the knees back together. Give them a little rock side to side. And then we're going to flick those feet behind us to come into a tabletop position. And we're going to do a few little cat-cows just to warm up that back. Inhale, looking up towards the ceiling, drawing the chest down towards the ground. And then exhale, tucking the chin in towards our chest. In our tabletop position, which is just hands and knees on the floor, we should have our shoulders in line with those wrists and our hips in line with those knees. You can tuck in those toes if you really want to. It might give a little bonus stretch through those feet. And then we are going to do just a few more of these cat-cows. They are two different movements, but they're usually used together. Our cow is when we look up, and our cat is when we look down. And once you've had enough of those cat-cows, we're going to move into a squat. So we're going to tuck in those toes. We're going to bring ourselves back onto the balls of the feet and then push our body back so that our hips lift off of the ground, our knees lift off of the ground, and we're trying to sink our heels towards the ground as much as we can. I'm going to move to the front just so that you can see what's happening here. We want to try and find those heels on the floor. If they are lifting off a little bit, that's okay. Just keep your hands on the ground to give them some more support. And if you aren't finding it super comfortable, you can widen out your feet and see if that changes things for you. You can place your hands together by placing the elbows on the insides of the knees and pushing out for some open hips. This is a nice little stretch here in this deep, deep squat. It is going to give your hips a lot of space. We are going to be making sure we're getting a little bit of every part of the body today. So we've done our legs, our hips and our back, and we're not even off the floor yet. We're going to bring ourselves up and move through our sun salutations now. So to do that, you can come out, come down, forward, and then bring yourself to a standing position comfortably. Or if you want to move straight into a standing position from your squat, we're just going to take the hands onto the floor, tuck the chin in, and slowly take the head down to the ground while lifting those hips up. I'm just going to move to the side so you can see those knees are quite bent. As you bring yourself up, you might need to walk those feet a little bit closer in. You can always take the hands and keep them on the floor as you need to. And then slowly starting to roll the body up, leaving the head and neck for last. We're going to come forward onto the top of our mat for our sun salutations. So our sun salutations today, we're going to be moving through them, but we're going to be skipping the lunges at the end of the second and third round. So it's going to be really, really quick, really hot, and it's going to bring you a lot of energy. We're going to bring our feet nice and close together, heels slightly apart, toes touching, hips over the tops of the feet, shoulders over the tops of those hips, draw those shoulder blades together, palms facing forward, slight tuck to the chin. This is our Tadasana, mountain pose. So we're going to start and end each of our rounds here. Inhale, lifting up through those arms. Exhale, slowly bringing those hands back down to the heart. We're Going to do 6 of those in total, so 5 more. Inhale. Exhaling out. Inhale. Exhaling out. That's halfway through. 3 more to go. So in yoga, usually we like to breathe in and out through the nose, and you might like to adopt a breath technique called Ujjayi breath or ocean breath. So as you inhale, you breathe in through the nose, and as you exhale, you breathe out through the nose, but you have a slight closure to the back of the throat. So it kind of makes a little sound, like you're annoyed at someone, or it sounds like a wave crashing to the ground. This breathing technique just brings control and concentration. We've finished those breaths now. We're going to take a big breath in, reach those hands up high. Exhale, swan dive forward, reach down for those toes. They feel a little bit far away for now, but hopefully they'll feel closer by the end of class. Release out their head and neck. Give yourself a sway side to side. If you want to, you can catch those elbows instead. Give yourself a little release out. This is going to give you a stretch through the backs of the legs, and it's going to allow the spine to really let go of any tension. This is a great time as well to make sure the neck is fully releasing down. You should be looking at your own legs rather than at the floor, so the back of the neck is long. Releasing out those hands. Inhale, tracing the hands on the fronts of the legs, straightening out through the spine. Halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. We're going to do a few more of those. Inhale, straighten the spine. Exhale, release out. 4 more. Inhale. I like to think of these as kind of like a standing cat-cow. So you straighten and lift slightly, and then you round down and let go. Inhale. Halfway lift. You might like to straighten the legs a bit too for a deeper stretch. Breathing out. 2 more. And out. Last one. And forward. Hands onto either sides of the feet, stepping back, right leg, stepping back, left leg, downward facing dog. For our down dog, you might like to take the dog for a walk by pedaling out those feet one at a time. It gives you a nice little way to loosen up across the backs of the legs. And if you really want to, you can kind of move those knees side to side and move the hips side to side, and that will give you a nice little release out too. This first round, we're going to keep it nice and slow, and then we'll pick up the pace for the final 2. Finding your stillness in down dog. We're bending those knees slightly to protect the lower back if we need. We're straightening out the spine, drawing the stomach in towards the chest. Our heels are searching for the floor, but they don't have to be touching. Inhale, draw the body weight forward into plank. Take those knees down, untuck the toes. Exhale, slowly guiding the body forward, leading through the heart. And then inhale, lifting up through our baby cobra, pressing down through the tops of the feet. Hands aren't doing too much work here. They're there to support you. Elbows are drawing in. Exhale, taking it back through the knees, lifting off of the floor for our downward facing dog. Once again, you might like to pedal. You might like to find some space. And then inhale, lifting up through the right leg for 3-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. Walk it forward with the hand if you need to. Step forward the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Swapping sides. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take it down. Stepping back, left leg, then right, downward facing dog. You might like to pedal still. You might find your stillness here already though. And then inhale forward to plank. You can take those knees down or you can keep them up. Exhale, slowly guide the body down, elbows in, lifting through either your baby cobra, or you might like to straighten out through the arms and lift up fully for your upward facing dog. Your hips aren't relaxing here, not flopping to the floor. We want to lift the whole body up towards the ceiling, pressing through the tops of the feet. Exhale, taking it back via plank or via your knees to downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up through the left leg for 3-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips, stepping forward, right leg, inhale. Halfway lift, breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Second round, let's make it quicker. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Halfway lift, big breath in, breathing out, rounding down, forward fold. Stepping back, right leg, stepping back, left leg. Downward facing dog. Inhale, forward. Breathing out, lowering down. Inhale, up to either of your two options. Exhale, take it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up right leg, stepping it forward. Stepping forward, left. Breathing out, rounding down. Inhale to rise up. Halfway through already. Exhaling out. Big breath in. Breathing forward. Halfway lift, rising with the breath. Breathing out, rounding down. Stepping back, left leg. Stepping back, right leg. Downward facing dog. Inhale, forward. Exhale slowly, gliding the body down. Inhale to upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, taking it back. Inhale, floating up through our left leg. Stepping the left leg forward. Stepping the right leg forward. Halfway lift, flat back. Breathing out, rounding down. Inhale to rise up. Breathing out. Final round. Inhale. Exhale down. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Right leg back. Left leg back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Inhale forward. Exhale down. Big breath to reach up. Breathing out. Taking it back. Right leg up. Right leg forward. Inhale. Halfway lift. Breathing out. Inhale to rise up. Breathing out. Hands down. Final side. Inhale. Exhale down. Halfway lift. Breathing out. Stepping back left. Stepping back right. Inhale forward. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, taking it back. Lifting up through the left leg, three-legged dog. Step that leg in between the fingertips. Right foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Breathing out, rounding down. Inhale to rise up. Exhale out. Well done, everyone. It was a bit fast. If you do want to do a few more, if you're finding that you were really enjoying that pace, you can do a few more to get that body nice and warm. But hopefully you found that because we didn't take that rest with the lunges, you got a nice lot of breath and a lot of rhythm. We will be moving through a standing sequence now, doing some balances today. The problem with balances is they take work. So if you're finding that your balances today just aren't working, blame it on the windy weather maybe, or you can always use a chair or a wall to hold on to if you're feeling that today you're a little bit wobbly. We're going to be moving through our tree pose first. So our tree pose, we're going to be transferring the weight to one leg, and we're going to be focusing on that open hip. Our hands have some different options for us today, but what I want you to do first is to find something in the room that's not moving, and that will be your focal point. Your finding something in the room can be something in your actual room, or you can focus on something on the screen as well. We're going to transfer the weight over to the right leg, lifting the left leg off of the floor and really spreading out those toes on the right foot so that we can sink them into the floor. This is our tree pose, so you might even like to imagine that you're sinking those feet into the ground like roots of a tree. We're going to lift our body up, keep it nice and straight, turn the left leg out towards the side of the room. This is the hip opener part. Keep it there for a moment while we figure out what to do with our arms. Bringing the hands to the heart center. This is going to be the most comfortable spot for them. You can always hold onto the wall with just one hand and keep the other nice and close. We do have the option during the class to open the hands out, but if you're needing to, just keep them here to start with. We're then going to slowly, if you want to, lift that left leg off the floor. It can stay there, you're still balancing right now, but if you want to, we're going to glide that left leg up along the inner seam of the right, either below or you can lift it with your hands and take it above the knee. We don't want it to go on the knee. Knees, surprisingly, don't like going sideways, so make sure that you keep that knee comfortable and happy and safe. Once you've found your balance, make sure you're breathing, make sure you're still reaching through the ground with that right foot and those roots that you've created. And then you can keep the hands put, or you can slowly guide the hands up overhead. They can either stay here, or you can open them out into little tree branches if you want to as well. Going to give you a few moments here to settle into your balance. If you do wobble out, that's okay. Replant your tree, reset, and retry. To come out of our balance, bring your hands back down to the heart, and we're just going to have a little play here. See what it feels like to close one eye, close the other eye, and see how long you're able to balance with your eyes closed. Slowly blink open those eyes, slide the leg down, give that right leg a little bit of a shake, those hands a bit of a shake too, and let's swap sides. Transferring the weight over to the left leg now, plant those roots, spread out those toes, lift the right leg up. Find your focal point, might be the same, or if that one didn't work for you last time, try another one instead. Once you've found your focal point, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to open the right hip out towards the right side. If you want to, you can keep that leg on the floor, or you can start to slide it up along the inner seam of the leg, either below or above the knee. Doesn't really matter too much where it goes as long as it feels comfortable and it still keeps you in your balance. If you would like to, you can keep the hands at the heart, or you can slowly start to guide them up overhead. Once again, you can keep them here, or you can open them into nice little branches. I'm going to give you a few moments here to settle into your balance, to make sure that you're feeling comfortable. Remember, if you do wobble or fall, it's okay. Give it another go. It's yoga practice, not yoga perfect. And then slowly bring those hands back to the heart. And like we did before, close one eye. Oh, this side's going to be a bit wobbly for me. Close the other eye. And it's a little bit of fun just to give it a go. You'll notice that ankle is working overtime. Balances are really helpful for strengthening the ankle. Slowly open those eyes, slide that leg down, give it a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wriggle. We're going to do another balance here, our dancer's pose. I'm going to move to the side just so that you can see what's happening, but feel free to stay where you are as long as you've got room alongside you and towards the front and back of you. This one, once again, you can use a wall. The wall should be in front of you for this one to make it a little bit easier to hold onto. We're going to transfer the weight over. I'm going to swap sides actually. We're going to transfer the weight over to our right leg. Our left leg is going to lift off of the floor. Right leg, spread it out. Find your focal point. Might be somewhere different, might be the same. You're going to take your left leg, this is an arm. We're going to take our left arm out like we're holding onto a tray of cookies. And we're going to lift our left leg off of the floor and then reach down for the inside of that left leg. If you can't quite reach the inside, you can hold onto the outside. You just won't have as much room to move. We're then going to lift that right arm up overhead. I like to hold my thumb and my pointer finger together. You can just keep it straight, whatever feels good for you. And then we're going to slowly tilt the body forward, trying to keep the arm relatively in line with the leg. And if you'd like to, you can then guide the toe up towards the ceiling to really open through the hip. This is dancer's pose. We want to keep that bottom leg nice and straight. This is a very hard balancing act, so bring yourself out of it a little bit if you need to, and reset if you need to as well if you fall out of it. Give yourself a few moments here, and then slowly guiding the body out, releasing those legs, giving them a bit of a shake, and swap sides. Transferring the weight to the left leg, lifting that right leg off of the floor, right arm comes out like you're holding a tray of cookies, bending that back leg, holding on the inside of the foot. Lift your left arm up, and whenever you're ready to, you can slowly start to tilt forward. Once you reach the deepest point, searching for the ceiling with that toe is going to lengthen the stretch you get across the hips. We want to try to keep the hips facing forward so they're opening out to the side. Try to turn them down towards the ground to keep them comfortable. It's okay if you're wobbly. That's the point of balances. And then slowly bring yourself out of that one, or in my case, quickly, because I was about to fall out of it too. Give everything a bit of a shake, a bit of a shimmy, and then we're going to take ourselves down to the ground, but not before we do a nice little forward fold. This forward fold, though, is going to be a little bit different. We are going to take our legs over to either side of the room, nice and wide, hands on those hips. We're going to start to tilt forward. So tilting the body forward, keeping the chest nice and straight. And once we reach close to the floor, we can take those hands down to the ground directly below those shoulders. I'm just going to move to the sides so that you can see what's happening. So we want our hips to stay in line with those feet. If we like to, we can stay here. If you have high or low blood pressure, I would recommend staying here. But if you want to take it deeper, you can bend through those elbows, take the head towards the floor, either hold onto the ground, reach through those legs, or hold onto the legs. And take a few moments here. Should get a lovely stretch across the backs of the legs for this one, and it is a nice little release across the lower back and of course through that neck and head. Slowly bringing those hands back to that same starting position. We're going to heel toe the feet in slightly, take the hands onto those hips, and then slowly straighten the back as we lift ourselves up. Heel toe those feet in the rest of the way. Then we're going to come down to the ground to finish off. You can ragdoll down slowly, bend those knees as much as you need to. You can make a little bit of a quicker journey down, and once you reach the floor fully, give yourself a little sway side to side. Slowly walking those hands forward and then back. Bring those knees down to the ground and untuck the toes, bringing them forward. We're going to finish off with some nice little stretches on the ground. We're going to start with a forward fold. We've done a few forward folds here. This one's going to be a little bit different because we're going to keep the spine nice and straight. Bending those knees slightly is going to help with the deepness that you can get here. So keeping the spine nice and straight, lifting those arms up. And then as you exhale, we're going to reach for the feet. You don't have to hold on to the feet, but keep the spine nice and straight. So try to bring the stomach towards the thighs rather than bringing the head towards the knees. Keep that chest poking out. To deepen this one, you can straighten those legs out a little bit, or you can walk those hands a little bit further forward. You will notice this gives you a very nice deep stretch across the backs of the legs. Take it a little bit deeper if you want. And then slowly walking yourself back out. We're going to come down onto our back and do a little twist here. Hugging those knees in nice and close, give yourself a slight rock side to side. We're going to do our restorative twist today. So our restorative twist is going to, I'm going to give you a few options for this one, but we're going to start with our left leg straightening out along the floor, right leg hugging in nice and close. We're going to take our left hand across the top of our right knee and extend our right arm along the floor, palm facing up. Now, if we were to just try and bring our leg over, we won't be able to get very far. So what we can do to deepen this one is to scoot our hips over towards the side so that we're already on the side of our body a little bit. And then when we draw the knee over towards the side of the room, we're able to get a much deeper stretch here. Your head can look up or it can look across the arm for a deeper twist. Your knee might not be touching the floor, but if you want it to, you can bring some blocks or pillows under that knee so it feels like it's on the floor. Taking a few moments here, this is going to be a lovely stretch across the back all the way up into the chest because you've got both shoulders in contact with the mat. Slowly bring yourself back to center, straighten out that right leg, reset the body because remember you were scooted over a little bit, and then we're going to swap sides, hugging that left leg in, taking our right arm across the left leg, taking our left arm extended out, palm turning up, scoot your hips over, and then draw the body across. Head can look up or over the shoulder, whatever feels best for the neck. Take a few moments here. Allow the body to really soften into this one. Once you're in it, you don't have to do any work. So I call it a melting posture because you can just let the body melt into it however it feels comfortable. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Taking a moment, stepping those feet in nice and close, taking those feet together, knees apart, reaching the arms up overhead, giving yourself a few moments here. Should feel like there's plenty of space through those hips. We did some hip openers today. Should feel like the spine is nice and comfortable after those twists. Should feel like the sides of the body got a little bit of a stretch through our cat-cow movements and our sun salutations. And then our arms got a bit of work through those as well. We're going to finish off with a meditation now. You might like to pop some layers on because the body will probably cool down rather rapidly after you've been moving around. You can stay in this position. If you'd prefer to come out of it, use your hands to guide yourself out. You can take those feet apart, knees together, or you can extend those legs into Shavasana corpse pose. Once you've found your comfortable position, take a few moments to just close down the eyes, to settle in with the breath. If there's any other little twists or turns that you need to do or cracks, take a few moments to get them out of your system and then close down the eyes, connect in with the breath. And bring your awareness down to the soles of your feet. As you breathe, I'd like you to imagine that a colourful light slowly moves through your body, starting down at the feet. It moves up through the legs, through the knees, and the thighs, the calves and the shins, all the way up to the hips. This light makes those legs soften, feel comfortable and warm. This light moves up across the stomach and the back, across the sides of the body, through the waist and the ribs, through the chest and the shoulders, the heart and lungs. And then this light moves down through the arms, through the biceps and triceps, the elbows, forearms, and into the wrists, until your whole body from the neck down is glowing in this beautiful, bright, colourful light, soaked, warm, and safe. Slowly moving up through the neck and into the head and face, across the chin and cheeks, the lips, the nose, the ears and the eyes, across the forehead, sides of the head, the back of the head, and the crown, till your whole body is absolutely glowing. Soon that light begins to fade, but the feeling it brought you remains there. You start to become more aware of your surroundings. Start to lengthen the breath and wheel the fingers and the toes. You take a big breath in, reach those arms up overhead. You might like to point the fingers and the toes, give a big stretch, before slowly rolling over to one side in a little fetal position. Use your arm as a nice little pillow for the head. You can keep those eyes closed for a moment if you do need. And then coming up to a comfortable seated position. Bring the hands to the heart space in Anjali Mudra. Slowly blinking open those eyes. I'd like to thank you for your practice today. Hopefully it was something a little bit different. Hopefully it was a nice balance of moving and then coming down and releasing out. The light in me honors light in each and every one of you. Thank you and namaste.